Welcome everyone to Lifetime Adoption's quick Q&A for hopeful adoptive parents. I'm Kim King and I am here with Lifetime's Heather Featherston, and we are excited to jump into these 30 minutes of questions that you all submitted in the registration. If you are attending live as well, be sure to type your questions and comments into your questions box in the webinar platform. So pull out your questions box right now if you can hear me, and let me know how your summer is going. And if you're not sure how your summer is going because it's just same old for you, maybe you don't have special plans, what's for dinner? Tell us. We want to know. We need some meal planning ideas. Welcome to the webinar. We are a licensed child placing agency. Lifetime Adoption started back in 1986, so we have many years of helping thousands of families all across the country. Lifetime has completed adoptions in every state across the nation. So that's a big part of our success for families, as well as our heart for birth moms and the step-by-step guidance and clear instructions that adoptive families say that they observe with Lifetime. Those are some observations that people really love about Lifetime, especially that we are founded by a Christian adoptive mom herself, Marty Caldwell, whom you can read about on our website at lifetimeadoption.com. Today, if you are brand new to learning about Lifetime Adoption, maybe we haven't become acquainted yet, you are welcome to fill out your free application. You can do so by using the QR code on your screen right now if you are attending live or maybe watching this in a recording. You can also just go the old-fashioned route and go to lifetimeadoption.com/apply. Our website at lifetimeadoption.com is so full of really great information all about modern adoption. And some of the questions tonight pertain to some things that are on our site. So I think it'll be really, really interesting. But before we get too far, I just want to let you know I am also here and available to answer questions for you. You can call at 727-493-0933, and I'm available Monday through Friday. You can also email me, Kim at lifetimeadoption.com, request your informational packet for adoptive parents. Just email me your first and last name and what state you're in, along with anything else you would love to share so I can understand where you're coming from and how to best direct you. The application is a great next step no matter where you are in your process. If it's been over 6 months and you're circling back around to Lifetime, as often happens because adoption is sort of a path that's not always a beeline. It can be like a stepping stone that can take different directions. And I just want to let you know that there is no mistake in your timing in the application process with Lifetime. We understand that where we may start walking with you can be at any point in your considering adoption, researching it, or finally being ready to actually take some action steps in adoption. When you apply, it is absolutely free. There is no commitment by filling out the application. The application should take you about 15-20 minutes to complete. If you're a married couple, I recommend sitting down and filling that out together. After all, that is just a precursor to all the things that you're going to be working on jointly as you become parents together. But Heather, thank you so much for being with us, and you've picked out some great questions from the registration tonight.
Yeah, I actually love doing these webinars. I know you do too, Kim, because we go quickly. We try to cover a lot of ground in 30 minutes. And tonight, yes, or this afternoon, I guess, we
I'm
did
used to
pull,
saying tonight.
I know we did pull some questions from our registration report, but I also want to say those of you who are joining us live, and I'm so excited to see that there's a lot of you joining us live today. Please put your questions in the chat. If you ask something, I'd much rather ensure that we get your questions answered also. This is live, and so we're here. We're here to answer your questions today. So let's go with where we have first from our registration report. Someone asked how we find out more about the birth mothers listed on your website. And Kim, I'm just going to start here by just sharing that one of the reasons we do list some of the women, not all the women, who are working with us, considering adoption, wanting to learn more about it, is because we've heard over the course of many years, women have found some reassurance in seeing that they're not alone, seeing that there's other moms thinking about adoption. It can kind of feel isolating. I think a lot of women want to explore adoption privately, so sometimes when they see, there's other women like me exploring adoption, that can help them. For adoptive parents, it helps you learn about some of the potential adoptions, potential expectant moms that we're working with, and so you can see if there are moms situations, adoptions that are, matching kind of what you're looking for. As a good example, I remember I talked to a family many years ago, and they called, they were super excited. They said, we've been watching your website for years, and finally there's one birth mom that looks like a match for what we're looking for. Well, they were very, very specific. They wanted a baby from the South Pacific, and we finally had one South Pacific Islander mom. And I had to share with them, you know what, if you've been watching our site, there's only one, we probably are not going to be a good fit for you. So like I say, for families, it's a good reflection of the types of moms who we're working with here at Lifetime. Oh, Kim, I can't hear you.
I got a magic button there. It's called mute. Heather, something that I really love about how Lifetime manages this page, and people often call in or text or email me and say, how often is the birth mother listings page at lifetimeadoption.com? How often is it updated? And there is generally an update date on there, but it can be a little confusing because that date is usually the same day, because actually we update that listing almost every day, or if not every day. I mean, it's been for years. I've never seen a day where it hasn't been updated, because Lifetime is available for women who are considering adoption, who call in and complete an intake with us. We're available 24/7. So those intakes are happening around the clock, 7 days a week, even on the holidays. When a woman has her moment when she's finally ready to make a call, and she initiates that with us, we want to be here. We want to be ready for her. And when she completes a full intake, more than just an inquiry, but she shared enough information with us to let us know who would be a match for her. She's shared her family characteristics of the baby, and we know a little bit about what she is looking for. So then we can go into your file if you're working with Lifetime and see if she fits within everything you've said you're okay with, and you also meet what she's looking for. And so all of the birth mothers listed there have actually been shown profiles of families. Now, we hear from birth moms on a regular basis who are just about to give birth right away within the next week or two, or even have given birth that day or the night before. And usually those don't always make it to the listing. So,
They
but what
do
you
not.
do see there is very accurate of who's keeping in touch with us, who has completed an actual full intake, and who is currently viewing profiles of Lifetime's waiting families who have a profile and who have a home study that would be done in time for that match, and whose characteristics and preferences are all a mutual match. So every birth mom coordinator here at Lifetime has the ability to decide, okay, I have this connection with this birth mom. I've been presenting profiles to her. She's completed her new intake. She hasn't matched with anyone yet, but I do feel like it would be good to share her listing on the website for the reasons Heather mentioned. Very encouraging on both sides of the adoption relationship, the birth mother side and the adoptive parent side. So that's how you can
And
look at that.
And I think it's good to know it's not a shopping cart. So I guess to get back to the question, how do we find out more about the individual moms? You really can't. They are working with us. They have already looked at families. But like we said, if you see someone there, or you see many there that are kind of in line with what you're looking for, and you haven't filled out an application, you haven't learned about working with Lifetime, that is something I would definitely do, just simply because, we may be a good match for you. Unless, like I mentioned, you've been watching for years and you only sell one or two, then we just might not be. And that's, the easiest way, I think, to kind of explain that.
I also want to
So
mention that about 95% of our adoptions are newborns. So that is
yes.
typically the type of adoption that actually goes through to a successful adoption, though we do receive intakes and start working to assist a mother who may be considering adoption for a child already born. And a few times a year, those do happen. But usually our adoptions are newborns where she matched during pregnancy or chose a family from the hospital.
So, Kim, I'm going to jump to the next question here. And this is something I know you love talking about. Can you give a breakdown of adoption costs?
Yes. So there are 4 expenses to plan for in any adoption with Lifetime. And I love how we've mapped this out so clearly, because this is something that overwhelms families, not just because of the financial aspect in and of itself, but also trying to grasp an understanding when you request information from an adoption agency and they send you a mile-long list of all these expenses from $50 to $5,000 to $30,000, all itemized along the way. And there's so much terminology, it's really hard for families to grasp what this means and how soon they need to be ready financially. So with Lifetime, it's very straightforward. We have 4 expenses we want you to expect and plan for. The first one is your fee for lifetime. It is a flat fee. The second one is your home study. That is your license to be approved to adopt the type of child you are seeking. That is state specific for you, and we provide referrals for families depending on what state you are in. So you don't have to worry about finding a home study provider on your own, and you're not expected to have started this or have it done in order to just apply with us. We'll let you know when you should start your home study and who to use. If you already have a home study, that's totally fine. Let us know who your home study provider is, and if it's for private interstate adoption, we can consider if that could be something you could use. And typically you can if it's for private interstate adoption. The third expense is legal expenses, and the fourth expense is pregnancy related expenses. These final 2 expenses, legal and pregnancy related expenses, do not come into play until we have the match in place. We need to know what state the birth mom is in so that we can make the right referral to the right legal services that are actually going to be needed in your adoption. It's state specific. We need to know where the birth mom is. And rule of thumb, you're always going to need legal services in the birth mom state. Whether or not you need them in your own state just remains to be seen. It might be an optional option, but most states nowadays have evolved to allow you as adoptive parents to decide whether you want to finalize in the birth mom state or not, do everything her state perhaps, even though you're not a resident there. It used to be almost half, and now it's almost all actually. So that's a good option to where you might only need one attorney, but you might need a number of adoption professionals performing the legal steps. And so that is one expense we're going to ask you to plan for. Heather, are we still all good?
I'm I'm back. Sorry about
Okay.
that.
I didn't know if you left or I left. I'm
Yeah.
just talking to myself. And the fourth expense there is pregnancy related expenses. This is customary in adoption. This is something that sometimes surprises adoptive parents to learn that there are expenses you can assist the birth mother with. Here at Lifetime, we generally stay within these classic, specific line by line categories for safety. And also, this complies with most states. But no matter what the state law is, we have to follow that. So, but in general, what you can expect in pregnancy related expenses could be like helping with her housing for the last few months of pregnancy, maybe with some utilities that kind of goes along with the housing, and then copays or transportation for her doctor's visits, and then perhaps cell phone to help maintain stable communication. And I think you can easily connect the dots as to how these all contribute to more stability in the adoption. A lot of parents think about the health of the baby, the stress of the birth mom, and they just want to make sure that she has as much care and stability as anyone would in a situation like this. But your pregnancy related expenses need to go directly through whoever is doing the legal work in your adoption. And we're going to pre-screen for the pregnancy related expenses even before you're in the picture. And then you're going to set a limit with us ahead of time on what amount you're okay with. Let's say up to 5,000 total, not monthly, total. That is our average for pregnancy related expenses. And then we'll present your profile to birth moms that fit within everything you've said you're okay with. We get the match in place. You already have your home study done. We make the legal referral, and then you start assisting with those pregnancy related expenses as we wait for the birth of the baby. So those are the 4 expenses, and there is a lot of help available for you for funding. So if you are curious about how to fund adoption, I'm going to give you a link right now. It's lifetimeadoption.com/financing. We have a little webinar video on there that you can watch to get a really great strategy that so many other families have used successfully to build their adoption fund. Most families don't have their adoption fund just come from one source, but they source from like 5 different streams. 2 to 5 different streams, I would say, is pretty common. And Lifetime also provides your adoption finance coach to actually get in there and help you finance and learn what grants you can apply for, learn about the tax credit and all the good stuff that we talk about at lifetimeadoption.com/financing. So that is a general breakdown of the cost. If you request the info packet by emailing me, Kim at lifetimeadoption.com, there is more of a an explanation of the cost as well as a sample budget in there, and it's really spelled out for you. So if you want to get your eyes on it and have something that you can actually refer back to, because I know I just shared a ton with you and you're probably just trying to jot it all down, don't worry. You've got that audio program you can listen to all about how to fund, and you've got the info packet that goes back over all the specifics I just shared. And you have me. I can talk with you live as well and go over everything and answer questions for you.
Absolutely. Let me pop up here our next question. And I love this question. And that is, what is the wait time for your wait list? And I love this because I get the opportunity to say we don't really have a wait list. In the old days of adoption, when you joined an agency, you went on a list. When your number came up, then that was your baby. And at Lifetime, we are very modern adoption focused, which, to be honest, I think most agencies in this day and age are. And that is that the birth mother is the one who chooses the family. So, we have, in fact, we just had a family adopt who their baby was born in July, started with Lifetime in April. So they had a very short wait. There are other families that don't get chosen for, longer than that. It really depends on a lot of different factors, but it's good to know that there isn't just a wait list. You're not a number. Anything to add to
There's
that,
a
Kim?
lot of, there are many factors that factor in to your wait time, adoption preferences, family characteristics. And that kind of ties back into what I was just thinking of when you were talking. I wanted to remind you, several of you have just joined a little bit after the intro, and I want to remind you that Lifetime has a free application at lifetimeadoption.com/apply. And in your application, you're going to share a couple of the preferences you have for your adoption and some of your family characteristics. And that's part of what Lifetime looks at as a whole to determine if we feel confident we can help. Are you open to a good variety of cases we see on a regular basis? And do you have family characteristics that we see those families being chosen on a regular basis? As Heather said before, like about the birth mother listings page at lifetimeadoption.com, if you only see one there in a whole year and you see hundreds of birth mom listings coming and going month to month, and you see one finally after 10 months of poring over it every week, that's probably an indicator we're probably not the fit for you, because what you want to do as adoptive parents when you're looking for an agency is to find one that does adoptions on a regular basis with birth moms who are what you're looking for and who are looking for a family like yours. So you want to be with like people looking for like things, so that what you're asking for isn't the rare exception, or what you have as a family characteristic isn't the rare exception to what they see as successful in their adoptions.
Absolutely. Okay, next question here. At times, adoption seems overwhelming, which I totally get. Where do we start? And I know, Kim, you've mentioned the application a few times, but beyond that, where do you recommend that families start?
So when you request your information packet here at Lifetime by emailing me, kim@lifetimeadoption.com, or when you fill out your application, you'll receive one in a follow-up email right away. When you fill out your application, it is free and you'll hear back from us within 1 to 5 business days. So you can look at the information packet. And why I bring that up again is that there is an infographic that has block by block the different phases of adoption. It is overwhelming at first for a few reasons. One, you have to figure out what you're even looking for to know which agency or type of adoption is going to be the right fit for you. And I can help you with that. Just call me or email me, tell me what's going on, and I'll help point you in the right direction. So you kind of need to know your identity in adoption first. Like, we are a family that wants to adopt a baby in the US. Or we are a family that has a heart for adopting a sibling group who's a little bit older. Okay. Or we have a heart for rescuing an orphan. We have a heart for international adoption. We have a heart for interracial adoption. We have a heart for open adoption. Now, you may not know any of these things yet, and God may give you that heart as you keep learning more, right? And He can do that too. Um, But that's one of the first things is kind of know a little bit about what you're looking for. And the next thing is to go ahead and fill out the application because we're going to help point you in the right direction. But I will say, terminology is important. Someone told me, an adoptive parent told me, it was really overwhelming until I started getting the lingo. Because if we start saying post placement visit, home study,
Right.
pregnancy related expenses, TPR, ICPC, all these things, right? Then it's going to be overwhelming because you're like, wait, what does that actually mean? What does it mean? So just give yourself some grace, ask questions. If someone says something to you in a conversation, like with your agency, and you don't know what it is, ask. Stop and ask so that you can get clarity. Take notes. When you take notes, be sure to write down what agency you're actually on the phone with so that you don't confuse. A lot of people actually confuse information about Lifetime with other agencies. A lot of
Mhm.
agencies have similar names. That's why I keep saying Lifetime to you so that hopefully it'll ring a bell and you'll know who we are. But you've just got to start learning what you can, and it is going to feel overwhelming. That's normal. There's no way around it. It's gonna feel
Right.
overwhelming at first unless you just have like, this is the type of thing you love to do, research, you're gonna love it. But if this is all new to you, and this is the first time you've ever done something so daunting in your life, then it will feel overwhelming, and that is quite natural. But that is what we are here for. We are here to help navigate the overwhelm because we know that for most families, this is your first, second, maybe third time adopting. Families might adopt once or twice in their entire life. And every decade that goes by, the adoption process changes. Every state has different laws. Adoption terminology, adoption laws are always changing. Every adoption agency has a different type of approach. Some agencies don't even work with birth moms. They do your home study and then they expect you to call them back when you have your birth mom match in place. So it's good to start getting to know places, learn the lingo, just jump in. It's kind of like, where do I start with reading the Bible? Just start anywhere and then let the Lord do the rest, right? So when you are researching adoption, just give yourself the opportunity to learn as much as you can. A popular podcast on adoption is Let's Talk Adoption. You can go to letstalkadoption.com. We have a lot of the basics on there, such as timelines, documents, all kinds of things, aha moments in adoption, all types of episodes in there that I think you'll enjoy, and just let them play while you're in the kitchen folding laundry or you're on the treadmill or walking the dog, and just listen to those as well as any other webinars from Lifetime Adoption. You can visit us at YouTube and look up Lifetime Adoption and go to our playlist where we have previous Q&As and webinars there for you to listen to for free, and just keep feeding yourself that information. Don't put a lot of pressure on yourself to retain everything. Once you have an idea of how the adoption process works in general, it will be a lot easier to go to the next level of understanding and the next level of really truly developing your values in adoption. So I would say that's like the final tier is knowing your values in adoption, like ethics, how you want birth moms to be able to choose you, how you want to be presented, how the agency conducts themselves with you and birth mom. What's the communication like? What's the support after the adoption? For example, Lifetime is always available even after the adoption to help families navigate any communication or any situation where they're not sure what the etiquette would be or they need some advice. Maybe they got a curveball thrown at them from the birth mom or the child and they're like, wait, what do we do? And so all they have to do is just call, text, or email us, and we're happy to help. That's just part of our dedication to families. As you work with Lifetime and you become part of our Lifetime family, we claim you as our Lifetime family. You are ours. We consider us all part of the family. So we're always here for you. And same with birth moms. As I mentioned before, birth moms always get 24/7 support from first contact on into the future. Things like counseling, peer counseling, educational scholarships for birth moms through Lifetime Foundation. There is a whole big heart behind what we do, behind this webinar, and everything that we do every day from our whole team as we interact with you and with birth moms and all those texts, emails, video calls, scheduled calls. And, every time we get a chance to interact with you, our goal is to steward that well and help point you on the right direction and support you to help you grow your family through a successful adoption.
And just one more
Overwhelming.
thing. Yeah, one more thing, Kim. I just want to mention that, you know, not knowing where to start, you're not alone. That's one of the reasons Lifetime has a free application. That's one of the reasons why you can call and speak with Kim or one of our other coordinators at no cost. That's kind of unusual because we want to, and really it's our founder, Marty Caldwell. She was there, she knows that, and we want to help point you in the way you need to go. There's no assumption that you know. There is experience. Me and Kim both have the experience of families and birth moms call not knowing the steps, not knowing the process. And that's okay because we love to share it. It is, I mean, I've been with Lifetime 25 years. Kim's been here nearly 20. We care about adoption. It is our life too. And so we want to help direct you as best we can. I
Hmm.
want to give just a little warning as we're approaching the last few minutes. We've got one more question here that was submitted, but if you have a question, go ahead and put it in the questions box before we wrap up. We would love to get to any questions that you all have here. Oops, I accidentally turned my screen sharing off. But while I'm getting that up, Kim, I'll just read the next question, and that is, can you explain the fund reimbursement if a disruption occurs?
Yes. So actually, Lifetime's flat fee structure means that you don't pay anything else to Lifetime. There is no other additional fee to Lifetime if an adoption doesn't work out with a birth mom. Simply what happens is you let us know how soon you want to start getting shown again, and we start presenting you from that time forward to new birth moms that match everything just like before. So there is no backtracking, there is no paying another fee, there is no mandatory hold or anything like that. You may choose to take a breather because there are a couple of expenses that are at risk in any adoption. And those are if you have helped with those pregnancy related expenses. Let's say you spent a few thousand for a couple months on her rent, or her co-pays for her doctor's visits, or perhaps you retained an attorney but didn't finish everything. Those are the things that are at risk. The financial aspect is legal and pregnancy related expenses. That is really kept to a minimum risk here at Lifetime, as well as because almost all of our adoptions are pretty stable. A lot of our adoptions go through successfully. Lifetime's reclaim rate is about 4 to 6%. That is way lower than the national average. I've even heard of an agency that 50% of their adoptions fail. They fail and they don't have the fee structure that we have. Lifetime's fee is a flat fee, which means certain things. And I'm glad that Heather, before we got onto this question, we were able to talk a little bit about our heart for helping families and the steps and the things that we provide for birth moms, although um, we haven't really gotten a chance to talk too much about our heart for birth moms. But I'm glad that we got to talk a little bit about our heart for families and adoption and birth moms before we talk about the fee structure, because it's good to know that there is no additional fee for twins or siblings. I know that might seem like a weird statement for me to say, but people often wonder that. And a lot of adoption agencies do have their fee structure set up so that if you are getting twins or a sibling or an older child or a younger child or XYZ characteristics in a child, that you have a different fee or more fees or less fees. And with Lifetime, we have a one flat fee model that means that you don't have a snowball effect in your adoption. Or if you end up being blessed with twins, or in that
Right.
case where the family got triplets for the first time in Lifetime's
Yes.
history, they don't have extra fees to Lifetime because our fee is not based on a child. Our fee is based on the services that we are providing for you, which are designed to allow us to have a partnership, support you, provide resources, do all the outreach with birth moms, and endeavor toward a safe and successful adoption for your family where all parties are fully supported. And we are just about to wrap it up here. I want to thank you for being here with us tonight on the webinar. Kudos to you, brownie points to you, gold stars to you, and props to you for joining in on the webinar tonight or listening to the replay if you couldn't make it to the live. Remember, you can reach out and connect. I'm sure there are a million questions still flowing through your mind. Jot them down, just write them down like crazy, and get on the phone with me and let me know how I can help you. or you can email me, kim@lifetimeadoption.com. Remember that you can apply at lifetimeadoption.com/apply. It is a free application. It doesn't commit you to anything. We are just here to help walk with you for a short period of time or through to the successful adoption, whatever the case may be, or anywhere in between. And remember that for every family that the Lord has given a call to adopt, there is a child for you. So stay the course and keep taking your baby steps forward every single day. And we'll talk to you soon.